Hello and welcome to another episode of Agri Art. China is a site of domestication and diversity of many persimmon species. The first recorded instance of persimmon cultivation is in the poetry collection known as the Book of Songs. This book was written between the 11th century and the 6th century BCE. In 138 BCE, these species were primarily cultivated as an ornamental by royals. According to the ancient manuscript known as Zhang Guan Ji, I hope I pronounced it correctly, persimmon agricultural cultivation could be traced back to the Eastern Han Dynasty, which existed between 25 and 220 CE. After its introduction, it continued for around 2,000 years. Extensive cultivation began in the Southern and Northern dynasties in the 5th century CE. The cultivation techniques used were made by the agronomist Jia Zixi, and most of the species and methods are still of use and interest to this day. Dr. Zheng of the College of Horticulture and Forestry Sciences of Wuhan, China, talking about the uses and depictions in artistic history in terms of persimmons in China. And here are the results of this research. As an ornamental, it was used primarily and extensively in royal houses. The famous plant cultivation monograph, Quang Feng Pu, again I'm hoping I'm pronouncing these names and titles correctly, was written in the Ming Dynasty, and this manuscript introduced how the plant grows and its transformations throughout the season. In ornamental terms, persimmon trees were cultivated for their leaves that turn orange, red, and purple in the fall, their interesting branch architecture, which has an interesting ancient look to them, and their aesthetically pleasing fruit. The persimmon species DIOSPYROS armata and DIOSPYROS rhombophila were very well known for their ancient-looking tree branches, and nearly every species of persimmon had red leaves, and these leaves became the subject of various poems written by many poets throughout China in ancient times. The fruits are also very tasty and aesthetically pleasing in color. The ones I've had, on a side note, tasted very cinnamon-like. Most persimmons are either yellow, orange, or red in coloration. However, there's a few species like DIOSPYROS lotus or the date plum that have purple fruit. These ornamental characteristics were considered a negative during Mao's Cultural Revolution. But in modern times, the persimmon has been returned to being both an ornamental and agricultural crop, as it should be. Hello, I just want to let you know, if you want to fund this channel, you can do so on the platforms seen in the description below. Persimmons are cultivated in farm courtyards both in historic and current eras. Such species are ideal for their ornamental and productive elements. The first national wetland park in Hangzhou, again, my apologies if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, has been historically used for farming and fishing. As a result, numerous fish ponds are surrounded by fruit trees, crops, and wildflowers. Over 4,500 persimmon trees are found within this area, and all of them are over a century old. When combined with other native plants, the combination of the pond, the trees, and the plants creates a picturesque experience that's well loved by the locals. Persimmon trees also seem to do well as both roadside and suburban ornamental trees. On a practical standpoint, the tannins have been used to make basic items such as oil paper umbrellas, printing plates, black paper fans, and there's also various festivals dedicated to persimmons. The persimmon fruit combined with other symbolic images often appear in works of art reflecting the various spiritual cultures in ancient China. One such example would be a New Year painting in the Qing dynasty, which used persimmon fruit and a scepter as a symbol of great fortune. Other paintings were made that symbolized a harmonious and happy life. These persimmon paintings were made in the Tang dynasty. Even in modern times, bridal shoots depict 10 fruit species, including persimmon, as a symbol of good luck. The likeness of a persimmon has been used as a model for common works like teapots, lanterns, and sculptures. The Shi Dai pattern in Chinese sewing is modeled after the persimmon's calyx as well. And that about covers everything. Thank you for watching.